Hey, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here to explain you the concept of blastocyst in a very simple way. Okay, before entering the topic, let us know what is meant by cleavage. Cleavage is simply division, right? So in our embryology, this cleavage is a process of repeated mitotic divisions of the zygote within the zona pellucida. And what happens here is when a male sperm fuses with the female ovum, it gives rise to a two-end structure known as zygote, right? And this zygote, immediately after its formation, it starts dividing, which means it starts its process of cleavage. So repeated mitotic divisions occur of zygote, right, within the zona pellucida. Here the zona pellucida remains intact. Then what happens? So as a result, the number of small cells keep increasing within the zygote, and those cells are known as blastomeres. Those small cells of cleaving egg are called as blastomeres. So how this is a egg cell. So this is a diploid zygote, which means simply after the fertilization. Zygote. This starts its division as a larger cell and a small cell with its nucleus, and this larger cell divides and form two smaller cells. Well, this is the actual smaller cell, and now this smaller cell divides and forms four cells, right? And this how, and again it divides again like this 8 cell, 16 cell, 32 cell, 64, and this development goes on and on. See, what is the subdivisions of cleavage? Here we have three stages. What is the stage of compaction? The next is the morula. Next is the blastocyst. See, what happens in stage of compaction is, the stage of compaction is that stage at which all the cells are arranged compactly to each other. All the cells are in maximum contact to each other, and this is the stage of compaction. Generally it occurs in a 8-cell stage. This is a 8-cell stage. Okay, see, later on, what is morula? Morula is not mulberry shaped structure is called morula, which means here we have 16-celled embryo. Okay, see, actually there is a zona pellucida intact. While coming to morula, the zona pellucida starts disappearing. So the cells are divided into two layers. Okay, this is the inner cell mass and this is the outer cell layer. This outer layer forms the trophoblast, which forms the coverings of embryo. And this inner cell mass forms what? This inner cell mass is called as embryo proper, which gives rise to embryoblast. So this is trophoblast. This outer layer of cells is called trophoblast. Inner cell mass is called as embryoblast. Next. Now the actual blastocyst. This is the structure of a blastocyst. What happens here? Okay, in the 16-cell stage itself, some fluid from the uterus, some fluid starts entering this space. This is the fluid. This is the fluid. So this fluid comes from the uterus. Later on, while this acquired 32 to 64 cell stage, what happens? The fluid accumulation increases in such a way that the outermost trophoblastic cells become flattened because of the more accumulation of the fluid. That means the quantity of the fluid accumulating here is increasing. So the cells are flattened. So as the result, what happens is there is a formation of a cyst. This looks like a cyst, right? So the morula has been transformed into a shape of cyst. So this is called as blastocyst. Yeah, simple, very simple. So the cavity of the blastocyst here we call blastocele, and the inner cell mass, which is present inside the trophoblast, is situated only on the inner surface of the trophoblast, on one surface, on one side only, and this is called as embryonic pole or animal pole. Embryonic pole or animal pole. And the opposite side, where there is no attachment of this inner cell mass, is called as abembryonic pole. Trophoblast also divides into two. How? See, the part of the trophoblast which remains attached to inner cell mass is called as polar trophoblast, and the other part which continues with the blastocyst is called mural trophoblast. Right. So the zona pellucida. So this is zona pellucida. It starts disappearing in 4th day of fertilization. When it comes to 5th day, it completely disappears. There is no zona pellucida. See, this disappearance of zona pellucida is very important because now the trophoblast is exposed to the outer atmosphere. So this trophoblast goes and attaches to the uterine epithelium. That's what we call as implantation. Implantation occurs after 7th day of fertilization, right? See, now let me give a brief idea of all this. Now, formation of blastocyst. Some fluid passes into morula during 32 to 64 cell stage. This fluid is produced by uterine cavity. It separates the cells of inner cell mass from those of trophoblast. As the quantity of fluid increases, morula acquires the shape of a cyst. So now we call it as blastocyst. The cavity of blastocyst is called blastocele. The cells of trophoblast become flattened. Inner cell mass gets attached to inner surface of trophoblast on one side only. The side of blastocyst to which inner cell mass is attached is called embryonic or animal pole, and the opposite side is abembryonic pole. The trophoblast which is in contact with embryoblast is called polar trophoblast, and the rest of its lining, the wall of blastocyst, is called mural trophoblast. The clinical point here is hydatidiform mole or molar pregnancy, which means there is an abnormal blastocyst. This abnormal blastocyst, it results from development of trophoblast, which means outer cell mass. Due to this development of outer mass of cells, this is trophoblast. So due to this maldevelopment, there is a molar pregnancy. This molar pregnancy is mostly due to the paternal chromosomes. So no female is blamed for this. Female will have choriocarcinoma. Choriocarcinoma. It's nothing but this is an ovum with no nuclei. This is a sperm, and these two fuses, and a diploid zygote is formed with the duplication of the paternal chromosomes itself. So the complete genetic material of the resulting baby is of paternal, right? Is paternal, yeah. And as a result of this fertilization, the paternal genes regulate the development of trophoblast. So whatever the paternal genes say, this trophoblast has to obey. So as there is no embryonic tissue development, but still there is a increase in the HCG levels. HCG levels keep increasing, so that leads to choriocarcinoma or choriocarcinoma tumors, and that's the concept of blastocyst. I hope you guys enjoyed and understood this concept of blastocyst thoroughly, and if you find this somewhat useful, please do like, share and subscribe to this channel. Well, thank you so much.